My friends lied to my girlfriend that I cheated on her. Life was moving at its usual rhythm, with days blending seamlessly into nights and a sense of normalcy permeating through every moment. My relationship with Emma was the anchor that kept me grounded amidst the chaos of work and social commitments. Emma and I had been together for 3 years, 3 blissful years of shared dreams, whispered promises, and a love that I believed was unbreakable. She was my confidant, my best friend, and the person who completed the puzzle of my existence. We met in college, during a group project where we were both reluctant participants. Our initial conversations were awkward, filled with the typical exchanges about studies and trivial matters. But as we spent more time together, a bond began to form, a bond that soon blossomed into a romance that felt both unexpected and inevitable. We navigated through the ups and downs of college life together, supporting each other through exams, personal challenges, and everything in between. Our connection deepened with every shared experience, every laugh, every tear. Emma had this way of looking at me, her eyes filled with a mixture of love and understanding that made me feel seen, truly seen, for who I was. Fast forward to a year after graduation, and we had moved in together in a cozy apartment in the heart of the city. Our lives were intertwined in the most beautiful ways: morning coffees together, late-night conversations about our future, and an unspoken understanding that we were each other's forever. I had never felt more certain about anything in my life than I did about Emma. However, in the shadows of our seemingly perfect life, a storm was brewing, one that I was blissfully unaware of. It started with an old friend, Alex, and his girlfriend, Megan. Alex and I had been close in college, but over time, our lives had taken different paths. We still kept in touch, though our interactions had become sporadic, limited to occasional messages and rare meetups. Megan, on the other hand, was someone I barely knew. She had started dating Alex shortly after we graduated, and though we had met a few times at gatherings, our conversations were always brief and superficial. Alex had a knack for finding himself in dramatic situations. Whether it was a fallout with a friend or some scandalous gossip, he seemed to thrive on chaos. I had always dismissed it as part of his personality, never imagining that his love for drama would one day turn my world upside down. The last time I saw Alex, he seemed different, more intense, almost as if he was holding on to something that he couldn't wait to unleash, but I was too caught up in my own life to pay much attention. It all started innocuously enough. Alex and Megan began dropping hints, making vague comments about my relationship with Emma. They claimed to know things, dark secrets about me that I had supposedly kept hidden. I laughed it off, assuming it was just their way of stirring the pot. But as their insinuations became more frequent and more specific, a knot of anxiety started to form in my stomach. They seemed to know things about my life, details that only someone close to me would be aware of. Then came the threats. One evening, as I was sitting at home, my phone buzzed with a message from Alex. His words were laced with a malicious glee that sent a chill down my spine. "I know what you've been up to. You think you can hide it forever. Maybe Emma should know the truth." I was bewildered, my mind racing to figure out what he was talking about. I hadn't done anything wrong, at least not that I could think of. But Alex and Megan were convinced they had something on me, something they were eager to use as a weapon. I decided to confront Alex, hoping to clear the air and put an end to whatever game he was playing. We met at a bar, a place where we had shared countless laughs and memories in the past. But this time, there was no camaraderie, no warmth. Alex was cold, distant, and his eyes glinted with a sinister satisfaction. He hinted at infidelities, secret liaisons that I had allegedly been involved in. I was furious, my anger boiling over as I demanded he stop spreading lies. But Alex just smirked, a knowing look on his face that made my blood run cold. I tried to brush it off, hoping it was just another one of his twisted pranks, but deep down, I was worried. Alex had always had a talent for creating believable stories out of thin air, and I feared he might actually convince Emma of his lies. A week later, my worst fears were realized. It was a Friday evening, and I was looking forward to a quiet night at home with Emma. We had planned to watch a movie, order takeout, and just enjoy each other's company. But as soon as I walked through the door, I knew something was wrong. Emma was sitting on the couch, her face pale and her eyes red from crying. She looked at me with a mixture of hurt and anger that pierced my heart. What's wrong? I asked, rushing to her side, my mind racing with possibilities. She didn't respond immediately, just stared at me as if she was seeing me for the first time. Finally, she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. How could you do this to me? I was stunned. Do what, Emma? What are you talking about? She handed me her phone, her hands trembling. On the screen was a series of messages from Alex and Megan. They had told her that I had been cheating on her, providing a detailed account of my supposed indiscretions. They had even sent photos of me with another woman, laughing and looking far too close for comfort. My heart sank. The photos were from a work event, where I had been talking to a colleague, Sarah. We had been discussing a project, and the photos must have been taken at just the right angle to make it look like something more. I tried to explain this to Emma, but she wasn't listening. The betrayal she felt was too deep, too raw. You lied to me, she said, her voice breaking. You promised me you were different, that you would never hurt me like this. I felt a surge of desperation. Emma, I swear to you, I didn't cheat. Those photos are from a work event, and I was just talking to a colleague. You know me, you know I would never do this to you. But she was inconsolable. The seeds of doubt that Alex and Megan had planted had taken root, and no amount of pleading or reasoning could change her mind. She got up, her movements jerky and unsteady, and started packing a bag. Emma, please, I begged, my voice choked with emotion. Don't leave. Let's talk this through. We can figure this out together. But she was resolute. I can't do this, she said, her voice barely audible. I can't look at you and not see those pictures, not hear their words. I need time to think. With that, she walked out the door, leaving me standing in the middle of our apartment, feeling like my world had just crumbled around me. The days that followed were a blur of pain and confusion. Emma changed her number, blocked me on all social media, and refused to respond to my emails. I felt like I was trapped in a nightmare, unable to wake up or escape. I tried to reach out to her friends, hoping they could help me get through to her, but they were just as shocked and hurt as she was. They believed the lies that Alex and Megan had told, and my attempts to explain only seemed to make things worse. I was consumed by a mixture of grief and rage. How could Alex and Megan do this to me? What did they gain from tearing my life apart? I wanted to confront them, to make them pay for the pain they had caused. But I knew that would only make things worse. They had already shown they were capable of incredible cruelty, and I didn't want to give them any more ammunition to use against me. Instead, I poured all my energy into trying to prove my innocence. I gathered every piece of evidence I could think of: emails, texts, work schedules, anything that might help clear my name. I even contacted Sarah, the colleague from the photos, and asked her to write a statement confirming that our interaction had been purely professional. She was more than willing to help, and her statement was a small glimmer of hope in an otherwise dark time. But no matter what I did, it never seemed to be enough. Emma was gone, and with her went the life we had built together. I was left with nothing but memories and a hollow ache in my chest where my heart used to be. Months passed, and though the pain never fully went away, I began to learn how to live with it. I focused on my work, threw myself into new projects, and tried to rebuild my life. I made new friends, reconnected with old ones, and slowly started to find joy in the little things again. But the betrayal never fully left me. It was a shadow that lingered at the edges of my mind, a reminder of how easily trust could be shattered. I learned to be more cautious, to guard my heart more closely, and to be wary of those who seemed too eager to tear others down. One day, out of the blue, I received an email from Emma. It was short, just a few lines, but it was enough to make my heart skip a beat. She wanted to meet, to talk about everything that had happened. I agreed, my emotions a mix of hope and fear. We met at a small cafe, the same one where we had shared so many happy moments together. She looked different, older, more tired, but still the Emma I had fallen in love with. We sat in awkward silence for a few minutes, both of us unsure of where to begin. Finally, she spoke. I've been doing a lot of thinking, she said, her voice soft and hesitant. About us, about what happened, and I realized that I never gave you a chance to explain. I was so hurt, so angry, that I just shut you out. I felt a surge of emotion. Emma, I never cheated on you. I swear, those photos, those messages, they were all lies. Alex and Megan made it all up. I don't know why, but they did. She looked at me, her eyes searching mine for the truth. I know, she said quietly. I talked to Sarah. She told me everything. And I realized that I was wrong to believe them without giving you a chance to defend yourself. I'm so sorry. Tears filled my eyes as I reached across the table and took her hand. I missed you so much, I said, my voice breaking. I thought I'd lost you forever. She squeezed my hand, her own eyes filled with tears. I missed you too. And I know it's going to take time, but I want to try to rebuild what we had, if you'll have me. I felt a wave of relief wash over me. Of course, I will. I love you, Emma. I always have. We spent the rest of the afternoon talking, catching up on everything we had missed in each other's lives. It wasn't easy, and there were still wounds that needed healing, but for the first time in a long time, I felt a glimmer of hope. As we walked out of the cafe, hand in hand, I realized that sometimes, even in the darkest of times, there can be a glimmer of light. And sometimes, that light is enough to guide you back to where you belong.